right. There we go. So here we're going to talk about immigration and family violence, and this is happening. Shockingly, I have some clients who are actually Filipinos as well, and they're involved in family violence. At first, I couldn't believe, like, really, your husband, your real life. And when I say family violence, it's not only the husband I'm talking about who is the abuser, but it could also be the wife. You know, either way, it could happen. So it's not just the husband. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. And my slide there. Okay, here we go. Immigration and family violence. If the spouse here is a foreign national who is a survivor of domestic violence and who has previously resided or is residing with the abuser, means the husband or the wife. As an attorney, I always inquire more than just the regular information that we ask during intake, because it is important for me to know whether there is an application pending for an immigration benefit, in addition to considering the foreign nationals case in light of the Violence Against Women Act of 1994, which is also known as VAWA. And the reason why I say this is because the family violence could greatly affect the relationship, and there could be a separation of husband and wife, uh, and if there is a family violence related involved, then we have to separately discuss that one from the divorce and the annulment, because there's a special case there's a special benefit under immigration law for victims of violence. And so that's what I want to talk about in the next slide. Okay, so we said that if there is a violence involved, family violence involved, and the application of the Violence Against Women Act and U visa, we said these are possible lifesaver, really. Lifesaver, not only literally speaking, saving the life of the person, but also the immigration status of that person, of the abusive spouse. Okay, so in the United States, we have the so-called Violence Against Women Act of 1994. This section of the law actually, that's the VAWA. You probably will hear more often the word VAWA, shortcut for Violence Against Women Act of 1994. This section of the law enables qualified abuse fiancés and spouse or parents and children of the United States citizen and even legal permanent residents to apply for a green card in a manner that removes the abuse from the picture. So they can obtain green card without the husband or the wife, whoever is the abuser. So what I tell my clients, you do not have to stay in the marriage if you're thinking only about your immigration status, because through VAWA, you may be able to obtain green cards and you do not need to stay in that marriage. So that is very important. The abuse survivor or the spouse may be able to self-petition for a green card if he or she can demonstrate that the marriage ended in divorce in the past 2 years because of abuse, okay? Or because the petitioner was a bigamist, or the abuser lost his or her immigration status because of domestic violence, or his or her spouse died within the past 2 years. So under this, you can self-petition. Now, the abuse survivor must demonstrate, of course, that he or she is a person of good moral character who during the marriage was battered or subject to extreme cruelty by the green card holder or US citizen or LPR spouse or parent. Now, if all these criteria I've mentioned are met, then the abuse survivor may get to remain in the United States as a green card holder. And I particularly remember one of my case that involves violence against, women It's a domestic violence, and I was very happy to finally, when I received her green card, I was very happy because I know that that person can continue living in the United States and move on with her life, because it was not her fault um, for being subjected to violence like that by the U.S. citizen spouse. And I feel so bad for all the other Filipinos who were victimized of abuse but didn't survive. I'm particularly talking about the cases that happened in Dallas, Texas. If you remember that, the Filipino spouse was murdered, killed, and I think she was put in a basement in a freezer. That was very disheartening. So that's why for me, I have a special heart for this kind of cases, because it involves really life. Because here, there's a lot of people missing, and if they are missing, it's hard to find them. So what if all of a sudden my client didn't stop calling, and I don't know how to reach out for that person, because that person is not living close by me, is not in here in Houston. So what will I do? It's very scary. So uh, each day matters in that case, really. Now, one note regarding VAWA. An application can be filed on behalf of an abused common law spouse, also an abusive spouse who is male, and it can also be filed, of course, on behalf of abused children under age 21 or abused parents. So it's not only VAWA is not only for the abused wife or abused husband. And even if and it's also available even if in case of common law marriages. Now, for U visa, U visas were established in the year 2000, as a result of the Victims of Trafficking and Violence Protection Act. This visa is for persons who have suffered substantial physical or mental abuse as a result of having been a victim of criminal activity. This application must be signed by the law enforcement agency conducting the investigation of the victim. Now, domestic violence is a specifically enumerated crime on the list of criminal activities, so as are incest, sexual exploitation, rape, torture, and trafficking. So it's not just basically hitting your husband or your wife, but it also involves any of this that I have mentioned in order for you to qualify for your visa. In addition, trafficking victims may bring a civil action against the perpetrator in the United States District Court, and may also seek attorney's fees. And not a lot of people know this. So they think they don't have victims of trafficking and family violence. They think that they have no way out because they are being threatened by the husband, by the abuser spouse, about their immigration status, or that they will be deported, that they will be put in jail. So a lot of threats like that. Sometimes ordinary people like us will think, well, why would he or she stay in the marriage? She's or he is already being hit, hurt, torture. But if you're not in that situation, it's really hard to speak for them, because you don't know what they're going through. They're psychologically also being battered. So please take note of that. It's not just one-time hurting, one-time violence, but it's an ongoing violence that's happening every day. So that will change a person's perception or mind or state of mind. So it's hard to understand him if you have not been in that situation. So anyway, the U visa category allows the entrance of the family of a U visa holder without that person having to show extreme hardship or requiring an investigation. So maybe all they need to do is to involve the officer, the law enforcement officers, because the law enforcement officers will issue a certification that they are victims of violence, family violence, and they can use that piece of paper to apply for a visa, a U visa. And then that U visa or T visa will later on allow them to change or adjust the status and become permanent. They have all the qualifications to apply for naturalization, then they can also naturalize. So it's a path for citizenship, the U visa and the T visa. Okay, so yep, that's for our visas. And these are the differences between the VAWA and the U visa. So under VAWA, it allows spouses or children up to 21 years old abused by the US citizen or LPR, a spouse or parent, to self-petition for adjustment of status green card. For U visa, the victims, there is no qualification for you to prove extreme hardship. All you need to do is to show that you have been certified by the law enforcement officer that you are a victim of a domestic violence or a crime for that matter. Then you can already file or self-petition for a green card. Okay, brain check again. Raise your hand if you say it's true. Don't raise your hand if you say it's false. You're right, it's true. That's the meaning of VAWA. I can stop sharing now, I guess, so I can see your faces again, beautiful faces, smiling faces. Also, I'd like to thank those who attended the webinar today. I might not know all of you, but thank you for sharing this evening with us. And if you have any question in mind later on related to my presentation, you can email me, or that's my email address there on the screen, or message me on Facebook. How else? Or go to our website, a place you can actually type your question. And if you have any other, if you have question about other aspects outside my presentation, feel free also to send that message.
Thank you.